All right, and we live. So I got today with me Coach Ty Mosley. I'm gonna have him introduce himself and give us three things he's grateful for today.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? My name is Tariq Mosley, or Coach Ty Mosley, as everybody calls me. I was born and raised Boston, Massachusetts, and everything, so I'm local. I work at Dexter Southfield, a private school in Brookline. I'm going into my sixth year there, being the girls' varsity assistant, and I'm also a dean assistant slash campus assistant at Dexter now, and I'm in my third year doing that. And then
Mm.
I'm going into my third year as a football coach as well at Dexter. Three things that I'm grateful for: life itself, one, the ability to help the younger generation be better at basketball and as human beings. And my third, it would be better in myself that I'm grateful for because if I'm not healthy and wealthy, I can't help anybody else.
Nah, hey man, that's a fact. That's a fact. I wanna take it back. I want to turn back the clock though. Like at what point did you realize basketball was gonna be that thing for you, right? Like we all had that at that moment or that certain age frame where we was like, yo, I really love this game. Like, so what was it about the game that got you into it? About how old were you when you started getting into it? Like, tell me about your basketball journey.
I mean, I come from a, basketball family. My mom is 5'11", closer to 6 feet. Obviously, she has shrunk a little bit over time, but she's also, she's been a big basketball woman in her heyday. Even got called Big Bird a lot when she was growing up. So hearing
Mm,
those stories and seeing her and my dad like when I was growing up playing, and then obviously my brother who is Ty Mosley as well, or Terrell Mosley, watching his path as I was younger, because we're about 9 years apart. I was able to see like what basketball was, what it really meant to me, and
mm,
being around the game with my brother, my cousins, all his best friends as they played, that really helped me see the game, and I really feel like that made me who I am today.
mm. So
Yeah.
it's almost like watching others helped you gain the respect for the game. Like how they had to grind, like you were able to watch them grind and actually see what hard work looked like.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, I always tell the story because it was a good experience. I was able to get out of middle school to go watch my brother and his Mass Bay Community College team go to Delhi, New York, and watch them play in the JUCO tournament. I mean, and they
Mm,
played some high level competition. I remember this team from Texas. They had 6'8", 6'9", 7 feet. Like my brother and them competed. Obviously, they lost, but they competed, only lost by 15 points against a
mm,
really good team.
mm,
So that was another paver for me. Like I woke up like, damn, I can see what this is about. Like this is really what I want to do for my life. Play
mm.
basketball. Even if I can't, I want to impact the youth in the future with basketball.
So when you make that decision, basketball is going to be that thing. Talk to me about that journey from middle school. At the middle school level, pretty much. Well, at least, and I'm dating myself. I was born in the '90s, but I feel like at middle school, if you could dribble with both hands and make a little jump shot, you're elite back then. But once you get to high school, it changes quite a bit. So talk to me about like that transition going from middle school to high school, and then beyond.
Oh yeah, I mean, for me, definitely. Middle school was fun. I mean, I'm a '90s baby as well. I was born in '94, but um, middle school was fun. I was pretty good in middle school, like one of the best in Brookline, in my opinion. I mean, some people would say otherwise, but I really thought I had a, big impact at my middle school. And then going to high school, I mean, I got cut freshman year. I wasn't in my best shape. I wasn't
I
my
remember
height that I
calling.
am now, and I wasn't, you know, really in the mode. I wasn't consistent with my game as I should be. But, sophomore year, like the summer before sophomore year, I really turned it on. I did what do you call it? It was not like CrossFit, but it was something like that. And two of the teachers there had me doing it with them, and that really helped me because I lost like 20 pounds just doing that. That class was so impactful for me, and so that helped me get ready for sophomore, and then ultimately junior year. And then I got cut senior year, but didn't stop me from being around the game. I still played, still had pickup, still helped the guys that made varsity that year. So it was good. And then helped me get into the next year after I graduating high school, get to college at URI. And I came back too expensive, but then I got right into coaching because I knew I wanted to stay around the game.
So what was that like? Because I'm sure, because I know I was very similar as far as like being a late bloomer. So when I was in high school, I was thinking the same thing, like, what does life look like, while, with me not playing? Like, how can I still be a part of basketball? So what was that first coaching opportunity? How did that happen? Like, what sparked that chain of events?
So coming back from URI, I decided to come back after second semester, and then but I was, basically like living at home and driving to school.
Mm,
But I talked to my old varsity coach that cut me, and I had a conversation with him, and I was like, "Is there any way I could stay around the game and help these young guys that I've known and went to high school with, impact their game?" So he was like, "Yeah, of course." And so I started going to JV practices and still playing with them, and then telling my spiel. And sometimes I'd be at the varsity ones, hopping the games hopping to practice with them and playing against them. And that
mm,
was good for them. And it was also good for me just to, let them know, like, I know I just graduated, but I still can play. I could still be here to help y'all. So that led to the next year in the fall. I was had a job at Dunkin' Donuts at the same time. And then the varsity coach at Pep Rally, he came to me. He's like, "Would you like to be an assistant freshman coach with Darren Martinez, who got the head coach at the job?" And I was like, "Oh, yes. It's a great
mm.
opportunity to get my foot in the door to be a coach," which I wanted to do following being at home while doing school and playing pickup with the guys.
Yeah, and I don't want to overlook that, like that whole journey, because obviously that kind of like initiated everything else, right? But
Right.
you you humbled yourself and was like, yo, I'm gonna go volunteer my time and actually like just give back, like just go back and play and whatever. And that led to an opportunity. I wanted to highlight that because oftentimes like we're not really, us as individuals aren't really willing to, we want to get something in return initially, right? Like we want to plant the seed and then pluck the garden at the same time. And it's like, it's not, it doesn't work like that. You got to plant the seed, you got to water the seed and hope and pray it was fertile soil and that it can bear fruit. But
Right.
I didn't want to skip over that because I think that's a very like crucial gem right there, right? Have the patience to be able to, and the humbleness to be able to like take that step and maybe volunteer some time, like do some stuff for the free and see where it takes you, right? See what value you can
Right.
add.
Right. I think that also helped me get into training as well too, not gonna lie.
Mm, explain. What do you mean by that?
So obviously graduating, like I was already doing stuff for myself. Wasn't at high level that kind of like me and you and other trainers out here do now, but I was able to just know the game to a certain extent and just implement that for myself, but also for some of my former classmates that had already graduated ahead of me 1 year or 2 years, and then guys that were in high school. So I was just like, let's do a workout. We would do shooting, we would do footwork, we would do stuff to the basket. So that ultimately led like to my now coworker Lex Mongo, who runs iHoop Academy. He saw me doing that uh, middle of his session in the other gym, and he was like, "I like what you're doing here. Like you're giving stuff that's going to help the game for not only you but also your guys who, you know, you're not even playing anymore, but you're helping them get better, and you guys are still staying active, staying in shape." And so that's how I got connected to Lex, and then that's how became a member of iHoop Academy, and I learned a lot from him. Darren Martinez, Anthony Gurley when he was still with us, Deshaun Gibbons when he was still with us. So I took pieces from them, and that ultimately helped me to be the trainer that I am today.
Oh, let's rewind. So we're volunteering at the high school, with the JV program. Then the coach offers us the job. at the freshman program, what happens after that? What's the next step in that coaching journey? From what I mean, I guess we can call it a coaching journey at that time. We just kind of thugging it out, right? Just doing what we love, right?
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. I mean, I was at Brookline for 3.5 years. So I was with Darren for three. And then our last year, the head varsity coach that hired me, he resigned halfway through the year. Dave Ford, who was the JV coach at the time, moved up to varsity. Darren moved up to JV, and I took over freshman. And that was our last year at Brookline, because they went through a whole coaching change trying to find the right fit for themselves. And that was okay. We thought we were going to get a chance to get a full year with those guys, but it's okay. That last year, Darren and I had a undefeated JV team throughout the whole year. Even when that resignment happened in the middle of the year, we were undefeated. We were like 9-0 at the time. We wound up finishing 19-0. That was the way we ended our career with the freshman group we had.
Mm.
JV, Darren took them, and they only lost 2 games the rest of the season. Varsity, we made it to the playoffs. We just lost in the first round to Quincy, which was a really good team, and we thought we had a shot. But that
And
that was the start of the career. Sorry to cut you off. That was the start of the
no.
career, and then I took a year off that next year, and I got connected with Kristen Campo, who's the Dexter Southfield head coach, and I got connected through her. And I had already been coaching girls in AAU, so I was like, "Yeah, I'm ready for that path. I'm ready to join and help the women's game." She'd offered me a job and for assistant, and that's where we are now.
Amen. So let's talk even like, because often, and this is my personal opinion, I think if you're in the basketball world for money, you're in it for a long haul. Not to say that you can't make a living from this, right? But again, there's going to be that sacrifices. You got to water the seeds. So what is it for you that gets you up every morning and makes you want to get in the gym and spend hours on your feet, putting people through drills and repetition and the monotony that comes with the skill development process? Like, what is it about that process that draws you to it, that makes you want to continue to coach year after year?
For me, it's impacting a life every day I can. And another thing is seeing kids live out their dreams, but also making sure that they can be successful living out those dreams through the help of my guidance of knowing the game and studying the game. So
Mm.
those are the two things I would think that stand out for me. I don't care about money. I'm gonna make money anytime, but my focus is trying to get these kids better, trying to get them scholarships, and trying to help them be better human beings for the future because they're the
Mm.
leaders of the free world, not us anymore. We're old enough. We're living our life, but they're still understanding how to live life. So if we don't help them, they can't be successful to lead us in the right way.
That's very profound. So what would you say to the next generation of leaders when it comes to, we're kind of in an interesting spot in human development, right? We got AI technology, we have, all, the things that we're doing with food and GMO. And that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But like, what advice would you give to a youth who's coming up today where it's like, coach, I'm in school, but like I could chat GBT anything. Like, why do I need school? Like what? So like, you know, put yourself in, I guess, that young man or woman's shoes, and what is something that you would tell them, to kind of help them, guide them in the direction that they should be going.
The biggest thing I would say is you gotta want to live life to the fullest, and you gotta want to be something in this life. You don't want to be a nobody or a statistic. You gotta want to do something greater and better than somebody prior to you has already done, or even
Mm.
something in your own realm. So the important thing for me is telling the next generation, be yourself, do something that will make you smile every day. Do something that's going to make somebody around you smile. Do something that's going to make your family be proud of you, no matter if it's the biggest thing in the world or the smallest thing in the world. At least you get some people that are looking out for you and smiling and happy for you. As long as you're happy and living your life to the fullest, that's most
Mm.
important. Nobody else's criticism, nobody else's ignorance, nobody else's like determination for you is going to affect you. Only thing that matters is your heart, your mind, and your soul, and obviously God.
And that's a mic drop right there.
Mm.
No further questions, Your Honor. No further questions. Nah, man. I do have one final question, and then if anything else that you'd like to share, we can just, free flow from there. But if you could talk to your younger self, I mean, let's say you stumbled upon, your 12-year-old self, right? And what is one word of wisdom that you would drop on yourself that you could take with you through your life?
Self, another good one for me would be confidence.
Mm,
I feel obviously about me, but also the younger generation because I'm around them a lot. We both are. I think a lot of kids nowadays lack confidence, and I feel like that's the biggest thing that separates the people that can make it or get to that next level, or kids that are still struggling because they don't have the confidence in themselves. And you gotta
mm,
have that in your heart every single day. You gotta check yourself before you wreck yourself. Everybody's heard that saying before, but I really believe it. And if you don't check yourself, night night.
yeah, such with your beliefs.
Yeah, powerful.
Man, I guess in closing, man, if somebody wanted to connect with you, if they're trying to get in the lab with you, man, where do they find you at, man?
Hey, they can find me on Instagram, Coach Ty Mosley. They can also find me on Twitter, same handle, Coach Ty Mosley. And if anybody needs a card or anything, you could also find me on the ihoopacademy.com page. And also, if you need my number, there's people out there that have it, so you can get in contact with me to get in the gym.
My God, man. Again, I appreciate you. We can stay on a little bit after to chop it up, but man, I appreciate you taking the time out to hop on the pod, man, and drop some gems, man. Much
Hey,
love, dog.
I appreciate you allowing me to be a part of this podcast and help impact the next generation, but also impact both of our lives or older guys and women that are impacting the game right now, their lives as well.
Big facts, man. All right, man, we out. I think one of the things we're starting to see more of it, but representation from the women's side. I think it's starting to get there's starting to get more awareness around the game. One, I think it's the most beautiful game, right? The most textbook, fundamentally sound. If you want to learn basketball, watch women's basketball. Because a lot of the
Correct.
NBA guys, they can get away with a lot of stuff because they're over athletic. But I propose a question to you. Why is it yeah, we'll phrase it like that. Why is it important for us to spread awareness of the women's game? Like why is that an integral part? Why do you see that as a need? Or I mean, because that's a the side of the game that you're heavily influenced in. Like, so why do you think that it's important for us to support and continue to give it awareness?
Oh, I think, you know, this is a general start to my answer is like women in general don't get enough respect, don't get enough love as it is in any aspect of life, whether if it's a job or if it's friends, like all that stuff matters. And I feel like the women in general don't get enough love and respect and energy, time. And for the game of basketball, there are a lot of women out here now that are really competing with a lot of these men. Obviously, athleticism is a knocker, but it is what it is. But we're seeing a lot more young ladies that can dunk, a lot more pros that can dunk. And I think we have to elevate the game and elevate it to a level where people are respect and understand the women's game. You both, well, you said it already, fundamentally sound. To be honest, sometimes I have to let some of my friends and other people I talk to, like, women are so fundamentally sound. They're fundamentally sound more than some of the guys I work with and see, whether if it's on TV or not, or just seeing them play in the streets. They understand the game more. And that's why their shooting level is always top tier. They
Mm-hmm.
focus on the little things. And a lot of the guys nowadays, when they train or just work on their craft, they don't focus on the little things. So, like, footwork is one, ball handling is another thing. Like, those are two things that they've been pretty good at over the years, and it needs to keep going up. Obviously, men are getting there in terms of like trying to surpass the women, but the women have set a bar, in my opinion.
Mm. Second that. Second that. Who are some of your favorite, I guess, women's players, whether it be college
Oh,
or college or WNBA, past or present? You can just rattle off a few.
bro, I could go all day with this list, but I'll start in college right now. I'll give you a couple in college, then I'll go to the pros. So couple in college right now. Caitlin Clark, sniper, killer. You got Haley Van Lift. You got Angel Reese. Um, who else? I like a homegrown one, even though she don't have enough buzz, in my opinion. But I like a homegrown one. Uh, I like Taina Mir. She's a really good point guard. I've worked with her and her cousin is Lex, so I'll be biased about it. I don't care. But she can hoop and she can get everybody. And the last one, I'm blanking on who I was thinking about while I was talking, but it's another
Mm.
good guard that's in the league, the college right now. It'll come back to me probably before I finish. So let's go to the pros. Brianna Stewart, Diana Taurasi,
Mm.
Asia Wilson, Chelsea Gray, Natasha Cloud, EDD is Elena Deladon. Um, who else? BG, Brittany Griner, Kia Nurse, and Jewel Lloyd, and
Vandersloot.
the
I think Vandersloot's
yeah,
probably, she might go down as one of the best point guards to ever play if she, oh my goodness.
second all time the Sue in assists right now. Huh. You know who's one of my all time favorites that's not in the league, and I understand why she's not in the league, but she's doing other stuff justice wise.
Maya
Maya
Moore.
Moore. Yep, you know
Maya
it.
Moore.
That
Yeah,
that was
man.
my one of my all time favorite hoopers, man. Like
I
not
for
even
me, she put women's basketball on the map for me because that was like right when that was like 2010, somewhere around there. Like when she
yep.
started, that's when I actually started paying attention to the women's game. Like, yo, like they can hoop, like hold on. Like it opened my eyes to a whole nother brand of basketball because like you can see the layers of development when you're watching women's. Like you can see the plays, how they ran all the way through, right? Like the execution, the crispness. I don't know, man. I mean, basketball is art, right? And
Oh,
depending on who's playing is going to determine, the form that the art takes.
yep.
So, yeah, I think, man, yeah, I got my bad. I went off on a little tangent, but
Nah, you wasn't because you're preaching because that Minnesota Lynx team, like people don't
it's
realize how great that team was. Lindsay Whalen, Rebecca Brunson, Sylvia Fowles, Maya Moore, like we could go on and on and on about that team. That team was nasty. That team, bro. You talking about shooting, passing, rebounding, block shots, like defense. Like they were focused on defense.
so question though, are we in the age of women's basketball and there being super teams? Because you got the aces, they
Hmm.
stacked, bro. The New York Liberty stacked, bro. I feel so bad for Jewel Lloyd because after they took her team, she's just there on a solo. The Indiana Fever's coming up. Aaliyah Boston's playing well. Finally got our homegrown Kelsey Mitchell from the Natty. Finally got her
Right.
some help. But like, are we in the age of the super team, man?
It looks like that way, bro. I mean, I feel like there was a little bit of that back in the day, but a lot of people didn't know about that. You know, the Comets, all those teams back in the day of the
Mm-hmm.
WNBA. But now, yeah, Liberty, definitely the aces. Chicago was a super team a little bit back when CP was there. Like, how can I
Yeah.
forget about CP? I didn't even say her name when I was talking about some of my favorite hoopers in the WNBA because she's injured right now. So like I ain't get enough
Mm-hmm.
of her. But CP's on my list too. But like there's some teams that are coming up. Definitely Fever's coming up. You know who's having a sneaky year? I mean, obviously we can't forget about Washington Mystics, but a sneaky year because they've been
Mm.
up and down as Atlanta Dream.
Ryan Howard, watching her, I
Yeah.
ain't gonna lie, them guards that they got down there, they just tough. Oh my
Oh,
goodness, bro.
the the pace that they play at, but also the understanding about what the defense is giving them, not giving them is crazy, especially at the highest level. Crazy what I'm seeing now, man.
And it's like, okay. I'll propose another question. I want to try to help the viewers out there. Obviously, it's some little entertainment, but like, how can we add value? So, if you're a women's to our women's players, our ladies players, it's I guess a two-part question. Why should they watch film? Just film in general. I mean, that could be applied to boys and girls. And then, who are some teams or some players that you believe like ladies should start watching, especially in this age of positionless basketball with the John Quell Jones and the Brianna Stewarts and Even BG's starting to hit that little turnaround in that mid range pretty frequently. So, two-part question.
Okay, so film. Wow, film don't lie. First thing I gotta say, kids nowadays, men, women, don't realize how much film helps your game because you get to see what your coach is saying to you, and then you see what you did, and you can make the proper adjustments. But
Mm-hmm.
also, you get to see what worked well against a certain team or a certain player. You get to see what type of combo move broke it down for you, or what type of movement in the offense helped you guys get an easy bucket, or what did you guys do defensively that got to stop. So like those little things that are shown in film separates you to be great. You want to show your greatness. You want to be at the highest level. You got to sit down and watch film, whether if it's 30 minutes one time and an hour another time, but you got to sit down and watch. Like I personally, during COVID, I watched training film. I watched previous seasons films. Like I was locked in because I wanted to get better for myself, but also how to make the game impactful for the girls that I was working with
Mm,
or the young fellas that I'm training with. You know, like I want to teach them stuff that's going to make them get to the highest level possible. And then second part, film. I've had a bunch of clinics that I've been a part of where I've shown Diana Taurasi because three-level scorer, but also how much she moves to get open. Like
her
it's
pace
a
is crazy too.
it's and some
Pace
of
is
the
crazy.
difficulty of what she gets off, like those shots she be hitting, I'm like, yo, these are difficult. Like, not gonna say it's Steph like, but she was kind of doing it before him, way before him. If you go back to her college highlights at UConn, when her and Sue was there, you're like, damn, it resembles Steph, but it's like, nah, Steph was resembling her, whether he was watching her or not. Like, she was doing the same stuff, just at her pace and her rate. People don't
Mm-hmm.
want to understand that. Another one is Sabrina. Love Sabrina, dog. Like,
Mm,
I don't know how I forgot to mention her. She's like one of my top two players in the league right now. She's another three-level scorer. I've shown her highlights from Oregon where they showed her getting to the basket off screens and just off the handle, her getting into mid range, and then her hitting the three ball off reads. Like that
mm-hmm.
stuff will only help your game, uh, young ladies, young fellas, just paying attention to detail. They drop in coverage. Oh, you better hit that shot. If the big wants to switch, okay, that's cool. Retreat, retreat. Hit him with a quick boop, boop, boop. See you later. I'm going to the Baja, or you hit your teammate. Like
Mm-hmm.
that stuff is so impactful and so beneficial to a player that's in the generation now. They can learn so much from it. And then obviously Asia Wilson, she's a mid post player that can hit the three, post up, and then get a bucket. Like
With
average 20
ease.
and 10 and get a bucket. Like can lead a team to a championship, which she's already done. Obviously, she's had other pieces around her: Chelsea Gray, veteran, Kelsey Plum, De'Erica Hamby, like all these players, Jackie Young, Brakana Williams. Like, there's so many pieces to that team, but I feel like she's the engine. So like, there's so many different women in the game right now that I could pick out, but those are the three that come to mind right now.
Mm.
Stewie, let's not forget about Stewie. Stewie.
Man, playoffs right around the corner, so we get into really good basketball time right now for the WNBA. So I'm excited to see
I
what this gonna
mean,
look like.
the Commissioner's Cup is on right now. So once we off this, I'm gonna go finish watching that because it just started at 9. The Aces versus Liberty. I think they're on ABC or ESPN right now. People should tune in and watch that. Seriously.
Mm, that's a they're playing again. They literally just played like a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago.
Correct. They're playing each other twice in the same week. They play today and I think Thursday.
Oh wow, interesting. Did you watch the highlights of the first game, or did you see the first game that they
I saw
played?
the first saw the
I
first game.
was, yeah, I was gonna go to that in person, just because I mean, two of the best teams in the league, right? I'm
Right.
so happy I didn't. I would have been so upset
Oh,
if I don't. Well, maybe not, because I mean Sabrina and I mean Brianna went off. I mean everybody went off for the Liberty, but it just wasn't a great basketball game.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. And also, I want to see them fully healthy with Candace Parker and everything and see what that battle is like. Because I know the first
Hmm.
game was what it was. Aces won by like 20 plus, but I want to see when both teams are on, what type of final like finish it will be.
Because I don't know how you guard that, bro. Candace at the 4 and Asia at the 5 with those guards in the backcourt. I don't know how you guard that.
And then they come off the bench with us their defensive, killer, but also can hit threes. Alicia Clark. Like, I don't know how you stop that. I mean, Liberty has a way to beat them. They found out, obviously, they won, but they didn't have Candace, but they know what John Quell can do. They know what Stewie and Sabrina. So it's like they need the others. Salute. Like, they
Yeah,
got the team
yeah,
to match them. It's just like they got to be on clicking on all cylinders.
yeah. Yeah, I think the Liberty need another year. I don't think they're going to get it this year, but I think they need another year to gel. But we'll see. I mean,
Yeah.
we shall see. So
Oh, we'll just never
yeah.
know, right?
But in closing, man, like respect the art, man, because like if you really watch the game and watch the fun, if you're watching to learn and watching for the IQ and all the things that we should be watching when we're watching film and watching basketball as hoopers, you'll see why women's basketball is top tier and such fine basketball, like such pure, just beautiful basketball. I can't even put it into words just because it's so I love watching it. The way that that ball just move around, bro.
We talk about minimizing the dribble. That's what kids got to watch. Watch them
Mm,
minimize the dribble.
yeah,
They
man.
don't take 16 dribbles to get by somebody.
Yeah, man. Well, Zoom about to kick us off. I'm gonna go ahead and dip out myself, my guy. My line's always open. Hit me anytime, dog.
Hey, appreciate you. You know, you got